Hey guys, welcome back to the Stingy Trigger tabletop.
This is Stingy.
And this is Trigger. And on the table before you, you see a couple of Kel-Tec products that are here in our project. We've got the PF9 that belongs to me.
And I have the Sub-2000 chamber in 9mm, and currently it is fitted for the Beretta 92 magazine.
Well, what we wanted to do is we wanted to do a video about our customer service experiences with Kel-Tec. There's a lot of hate going around on YouTube and on the forums and on other places where people have problems with Kel-Tec products. It's part of the growing pains of a small up-and-coming company that's really striving and really working hard in order to be able to meet the demands for its products. As a result, sometimes lemons slip through the cracks and we run into problems that are experienced on a variety of guns in a variety of locations. The thing we wanted to talk about, though, is the fact that Kel-Tec has been fantastic with their customer service. My PF9 here in particular, when we first got it, we took it to the range, we ran it through its test period, and near the end, it started to seize up a little bit. And initially we thought, well, you know, I didn't even clean it. I mean, it was factory grease, it was breaking in. We're like, okay, we just got to clean the crap out, grease it up, you know, it'll run great. So took it home, cleaned it, you know, let it cool down, and you know, it was, you know, functioning fine, just, you know, on the table as we were checking it out. Ended up taking it with me to Florida on a trip as my everyday carry when I was down in the Sunshine State. And thankfully I did not need to use it, because what I thought was just a small cleanliness hiccup turned out to be a major issue. Got it back home, took it back to the range, and proceeded to put a few more rounds through it, you know, testing out different types of ammo, seeing how it would handle hollow points, aluminum, steel, and it jammed again. And it actually jammed so hard that we could no longer get it to function at the range. And unfortunately, we don't have any footage of that particular incident. But essentially what had happened was the slide had come back and had stuck roughly about there. You couldn't move it past this particular point, you couldn't get it to close up. And we tried cycling it a few times and it eventually got stuck right about like this. So, took it back home, disassembled it, and I was looking at everything. I was looking at the rails, I was looking at, you know, the spring. I thought maybe the spring got bound up on something. And then I started looking at the slide as it was sitting on the tabletop, and I realized that the slide has actually warped. It literally, if you look at it, should have been nice and flat, and had actually curved a little bit in the middle, and was shaped roughly like this, so that it would no longer function. It actually bound itself up on the rails, and you could no longer draw the slide all the way back on the gun. You couldn't even seat it fully on the gun. So I called up Kel-Tec, and I talked to a gentleman named Nick, who I described the problem I was having. I said it had seized up, the slide doesn't want to go in anymore, and before I could even get to the, you know, specific details, he said, wait a second, what's the serial number on your gun? And I rattled off my serial number on the back here, and he goes, okay, yeah, that's probably one of the ones that was in a bad batch of heat treat that we got back from our subcontractor. Send it in to us, we'll make it right, and we'll fix everything. So, mailed it back into Kel-Tec. They replaced the slide, they replaced the barrel. There was actually some peening that was happening to start on the barrel, as well as some peening on the underside of the slide, just from the operation of it slamming back and forth together. And they replaced both those parts, and they actually took the time to clean it, and they polished the feed ramp for me, which, you know, was nice. I wasn't even asking for that. It was a nice little bonus. Sent it back, took it back out to the range, had a new slide on it, you know, new spring, new extractor, new, you know, everything upper, essentially. And we started firing, and again, as we got through about 100, 150 rounds, we were starting to have trouble with it extracting. So we took it home, we thought maybe it was just dirty again, we cleaned it, you know, we looked at some of the cases, there were scrapes along the side of the case as it was coming out. Clearly the extractor was making contact, So I thought, well, maybe the extractor's just a little dull on this one. I took a file, sharpened up the tip just a little bit, you know, and took it back to the range. Same problem. Still having trouble extracting, and we got to the point where about every other round was not extracting. So I called up Kel-Tec again, this time talked to Chad. Chad again asked me for the serial number, and I explained what happened, and he said, when did you get the slide replaced? And then I gave him the date, and he said, okay, I'm going to send you a new extractor spring and a new extractor hold down screw here for the spring, and he said that should take care of it. I said, you know, part of the same batch of bad heat treat stuff. They got the slide right, but they weren't getting the spring right after that. So package came in the mail a couple days later, put the new spring on, put the new screw in, tightened it in place. We put probably close to 300, 350 rounds through it since then.
And we use a variety of ammo, everything from aluminum to steel, and
that's true,
you know, and brass, of course.
Yeah, and you know, hollow points, full metal jackets, like Stingy said, every type of case we could imagine, and it has been 100%. So it took Kel-Tec 3 tries, but they finally got it right. And yes, it did take a trip being sent in back to the manufacturer, but despite all that, the extra parts, the repair, even the cost to ship this thing, you know, each way via UPS, you know, overnight, as is required for, you know, common carriers for shipping a fully functional firearm. All of that was paid for by Kel-Tec. You know, they paid the $60 each way. They paid to replace the slide, the barrel, the machining. You know, they mailed out and replaced everything for me that I needed.
Actually, if I remember correctly, the first time the failure also included the front sight flying off.
Yes, that's true. The front sight came off as well. You know, they gave me one with a properly pressed in sight that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, this is easily, you know, $200 worth of parts, labor, shipping, and Kel-Tec picked up the bill, you know, to the tune of, you know, probably could have sent me an entirely new gun and, you know, cost them the same amount of money, but Kel-Tec made it right. So, I mean, overall, a great, you know, customer service experience with them, you know, even if it did have some issues early on and have some problems that we had to take care of.
Now, with my particular experience with Kel-Tec, I purchased the Sub-2000 probably about a year and a half ago. And I purchased it with the form factor for the Smith & Wesson 59 series magazines. And currently what's in there is the Beretta magazine. Now, unlike the Glock version, this version, if you look on the other side, right here, you can unscrew this part and basically replace it and make it fit either a SIG 226, Beretta 92, or the Smith & Wesson 59 series. Now, I came with the Beretta 59 series because I do have a Beretta 59 at home, and I figured, I'm sorry,
Smith & Wesson 59, dude.
Oh, what did I say? Beretta?
Beretta 59.
Oh, man. Beretta 59. Well, just cut that out. Or we can leave it in. I meant Smith & Wesson 59. Beretta 92. Excuse me for my brand dyslexia, if that's what you call it. However, yeah, I do have a Smith & Wesson 59 at home. And I was going to use it in a system with that particular pistol. But however, I found that the standard factory Smith & Wesson magazines, that while they work perfectly fine in the pistol version, did not work that well out of the Kel-Tec Sub-2000 here. Now, I thought to myself, well, you know, maybe it's something with the magazine. I need to buy a different magazine, because obviously the magazine that came with the gun, the 10 rounder, worked perfectly fine each time. So I figure, you know, I can spend the money and buy different magazines. Or the other idea I had was, I know sooner or later I was going to buy a Beretta 92 of some type. So I figured, you know what, I kind of like the Beretta 92 better, and I might sell the 59 later, or just you know, put it in the safe and not do anything with it for a while. So I decided that I was going to swap out again this mag release here for the Beretta 92. I went searching on their website, and I remember that their store used to carry those parts, and this time when I went around, I saw that, you know, they didn't have them there anymore, and I'm not sure if they just weren't making them anymore, or they discontinued the line. So all I did was just email. I didn't even have to call. I just went on their website, did the contact us thing, and just emailed them right then and there, and I got a response the following day saying that yeah, it's no longer available on the store, but however, we still do have that part, and you know, I'll just ship it to you. I forgot what the lady's name was, but she said she'll just ship it to me free of charge, and so was the part. So basically, within a couple of days, a small package came in the mail with the part in it, and I didn't really even have to pay anything for this. And you know, this unlike Trigger's experience with his particular Kel-Tec, I really haven't had any major issues with this. This was perfectly functional with what it came with. The magazine issue was primarily due to the Smith & Wesson factory magazine, not so much with anything to do with this. But you know, outside of known issues with the Sub-2000, like not being able to use aluminum case ammo, this thing has pretty much functioned as expected. And really, their customer service, you know, from my experience as well, has just been wonderful.
Yeah, that's you know, it's what we're trying to get at is, you know, yeah, sometimes there's some hiccups, you know, problems that you'll encounter, especially with, you know, let's be honest, some pretty innovative and in some cases radical designs for firearms. You know, you're going to run into issues and you're going to run into hiccups. But regardless of what those issues have been, whether it's because of a subcontractor not hardening a slide properly, or because, you know, something's no longer available for sale, you know, because the sales guys have made a decision, Kel-Tec's customer service has been phenomenal. You know, over and above anything we've ever expected.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if you have a question or anything, I definitely suggest people, you know, contact them via email, call them up, and they seem to be very genuine and very nice in terms of helping you out and making sure that, you know, you get what you want to get out of your gun.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people would ask, would your experience, especially in my case, experience with the PF9, would that keep me from buying a Kel-Tec product in the future? Absolutely not. I mean, we all hope that Kel-Tec gets its manufacturing up to speed so they can start meeting the demand for their guns. And yeah, we want them to, you know, produce a quality product that, you know, is going to work right out of the box the very first time. But even if, you know, getting it working the very first time is going to take them a little while, you know, in some cases 2 or even 3 tries to get everything, you know, 100%, would that stop me from buying Kel-Tec again? Absolutely not. You know, Kel-Tec takes care of its people. The Kel-Tec Owners Group is a great forum with lots of suggestions and can really point you in the right direction if you're running into troubles. And, you know, there's a lot of guys out there who've had similar experiences, who've run into problems with, you know, their PMRs, their, you know, PF9s, their Sub-2000s, you know, you name it. And Kel-Tec has always made it right. The community's always supported them, and they've stood by their products. So yeah, I mean, you know, on our, you know, future purchases list, if, you know, they get their production up and the KSG becomes available, yeah, we're both probably going to buy one.
Or the PMR 30.
Yeah, or the PMR 30, or
RMR 30, if that ever comes out. But yeah, really, definitely give them a chance. To, you know, if you do run into any problems with it, give them a chance to get it right. Because honestly, all manufacturers run into a bad batch here and there. You know, it is, you know, everybody experienced this, and really, from what Kel-Tec has done to make certain that their customers are satisfied, you know, we're definitely happy with both their customer service and ultimately, once everything's fixed, you know, their product as well.
Absolutely. So anyways, thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys liked the sort of Siskel and Ebert, two reviewer style review. We're going to try a few of those in the future. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more fun gun and project videos. And remember, we're just a couple of city slickers working this out as we go along.